Good everybody, Chris Farhi here from the Bayleys Insights and Data team. We've got Ankur Dakwale to talk about the biggest news in New Zealand real estate. Somewhere real cool today and seriously really cool. Ankur, whereabouts are we?
Yeah, so we are lucky enough to be at 16 Kingfisher Grove in Greenhithe in Auckland. Now this is a 5-bedroom house with 4 bathrooms, triple car garaging, and also a swimming pool. It's the ultimate elevated waterfront position you can have with stunning architecture, high-end finishes, and great water views. So if you want to learn more about this property, please get in touch with Ailsa MacArthur, Jeff Wagg, or Mike Hodgson from the Bayleys Coatesville and the Bayleys Long Bay office.
Yeah, this is super cool. Every little nook of this house has something interesting going on, particularly up in the bedrooms, some really nice views, so well worth checking out if you're after something special. So first off, kicking into the news, we've got some interesting commentary around when the housing market slump might end. And so this was some commentary by the team at CoreLogic that the slump might be over by June. And so their logic behind this was that the Australian housing market now appears to be entering a recovery mode. Australia and New Zealand are at similar stages in their interest rate tightening cycles, and therefore New Zealand's market might start to recover in a couple of months' time. Now this is pretty exciting, I guess, for the market. Good to see that the economists are now putting their attention towards when the market will recover, rather than just sort of who can pick the worst downturn scenario.
Next up, we have Stats New Zealand have come out with some latest labour market statistics data, which shows that housing net disposable incomes are up in Q4 2022. Now, according to Stats New Zealand, these disposable net incomes are up 1.8% during the 3 months to 2022, and these are rising slightly faster than the living costs. So some suggest that growth in wages is hedging out the increase in the living costs.
Next up, Stats New Zealand has also released their latest housing building consent data for February 2023. And so overall, there were 2,972 homes consented during February 2023. This was down 29% on February 22, so quite a substantial correction in that housing building consent space. Looking across the regions with the biggest drop in building consents numbers were Otago at 47% down on February 2022, followed by Canterbury and Wellington. So that makes sense. You know, with the housing market slowing down, we could expect fewer houses being constructed. So yeah, these stats align with what we'd expect.
Next up, we have Metenco, who are setting up a facility in Hamilton. So this is Metenco's facility will produce thermally efficient construction materials. It is a 23,000 square meter site, so substantially large, and an 8,500 square meter manufacturing facility included in this. The products they'll make include cladding and roofing panels and boards. Now this facility, it's good to see that we're getting some more robustness in the supply chain and building materials in New Zealand.
Moving offshore, our global partner Knight Frank has released their latest residential development review for Australia for Q1 2023. So within this, couple of interesting stats. So they identified that 12,000 new high-rise homes were built during 2022, pipeline of 6,500 expected during 2023, and then rising back up to 26,000 in 2024. So interesting, that little slump in 2023. There's been a drop of about 20% in the value of development sites as at the end of 2022, which is interesting, and I guess that's land values being corrected in response to a slower development market. And then looking at the sector generally, the biggest hurdles for development at the moment are planning delays and the cost and availability of materials and labour, which is interesting that that's an issue in Australia because we'd see similar things in New Zealand. The other interesting thing was the rental market in Australia. So at the moment, there's vacancy levels of about 1.7%. This compares to an equilibrium level of about 3%, so shows that the rental market over there is tight. And they've actually seen some pretty extraordinary growth in rental rates, up about 14% over the past year.
We've also had Knight Frank in Singapore release the industrial logistics update for Q1 2023. And some of the things that they've found in the study is the softening of business expectations has resulted in lower sales and leasing activity in Q1 2023. But the manufacturing industry over there is facing headwinds due to inflation, supply chain disruptions, and just general business uncertainty. The outlook, though, for the market remains stable, and rental growth is forecast between 1 and 3%, but the scarcity of quality logistics space means that the forecast in the quality space is between 3 and 5%.
And then finally, to wrap up, we've got our property of the week. So I'll kick off this week. I've got 369 Makapua Road in Taihape. And so this is a Manuka honey and carbon investment 1,657 hectares located about 15 minutes off State Highway 1. Large-scale sustainable ESG investment, strategically planted with Manuka varietals to support high UMF honey production and long-term carbon farming. If you want to learn more, you can contact Duncan Ross or Pete Stratton from the Bayleys team.
And my property of the week this week is the property we're currently at, 16 Kingfisher Grove in Greenhithe in Auckland. Now this is the ultimate elevated waterfront position. It's a brand new luxury home sitting on 790 square meters more or less. 5 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, 3-car garage and a swimming pool. It's great, stunning architecture, high-end finishes and great water views, and we can attest to that. So if you want to learn more about this property, contact Ailsa MacArthur, Jeff Wag or Mike Hotchin from the Bayleys Coatesville or the Bayleys Long Bay office.
Yeah, this is an amazing property. We had a massive snoop around and it's well worth checking out if you're after something very high end. With that said, we'll wrap it up here. So massive thanks to the vendor for this property, Elsa, Jeff and Mike for hosting us today. Thanks very much, Ankur.
Thanks, Chris.
And we'll see you next time. See ya.
See ya.